All right. That was so good. Y'all did really great. Y'all did really great. All right, County Commissioner Precinct 2 is our next race. And I did overlook, they told me that the candidate names are in ballot order, so that's kind of how I'm seating these candidates. So we have Mr. Zack McClary and Mr. Kevin Burns. Good evening. Do we have Mr. Burns? Okay. Okay. So we have you. You are on the hot seat. All right. So similar format for earlier. You have got a 1-minute introduction. Then I've got 5 questions from the organizations. We're supposed to do some rebuttal, but then we'll do some audience questions. How about that? All righty. I will let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Good evening. My name is Zack McClary. This is my home. This is where I was born and raised. Just a quick rundown of me. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a veteran of 2 foreign wars. I served in the Marine Corps in Iraq and Afghanistan, Marine Corps infantry. I'm a small business owner. I've worked in some form or fashion of construction for at least 12 years. Family owns a plumbing business where I started out, and I still do HVACR to this day. You said I only have 1 minute?
Yep, and there's your time.
Okay. Well, here's the thing, and if I may go over, because I don't have an opponent, I do want to address something about my personal past, and I want to address us as a body of conservatives. We're all leaders in some form or fashion. You're a leader in your home. You're a leader in your community. Some of you are running for a position of leadership. And I want to address that and with something that happened to me in my life. In 2006, I was in the Hindu Kush mountains of Afghanistan and Pakistan. And I was attached to some special forces units, and we were hunting Osama bin Laden and some of his cronies that were coming across the border in Pakistan. 37 of us went out. 13 of us came back. I've seen it with my own eyes that there are patriots that went and gave their entire life for this country. Don't you dare cheapen the shed blood of patriots for this country with timidness. The conservatism of Mitch McConnell is a sham. I'm sick and tired of weak-kneed conservatives. I don't want to see it no more. I'm a lot like y'all. I turn on the news and I see what's going on in their country. That's why I'm here. Above all things, I'm a Christian. I'm a warrior in Christ Jesus. One thing that I can promise you is that I'll put Christ first in all my decisions. I won't be weak. I remember things I've done and seen every day of my life, and I want everybody to always remember that there were people that gave their whole life for this country.
All right, here's the first question from the Wise Republican Party. What do you see as the natural role of constables versus sheriffs, and do you see this role changing as the county grows?
Constables versus sheriffs. As we grow as a county, we're going to have to deal with the influx of all these people that are coming in, and I'm sure everybody's seen it. I don't know if I would change a whole lot about that. I don't really see a big need in it. I think our law enforcement right now does an awesome job. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay. This question is from the Wise County Conservatives, and it's kind of along those same lines.
Sure.
Wise County is growing at perhaps an alarming rate. At the same time, now that forced annexation is no longer possible, the counties will undoubtedly take up responsibilities that municipalities would have previously. How do you see Wise County meeting the needs of large, sprawling rural neighborhoods?
I think there's a value in small town Texas. Some people may not like this, some people may, but I do want to see that we stay and keep our values of small town Texas. I don't want to see housing divisions spread across. I would say that we keep it more to the cities than sprawling out across the countryside.
Okay. Can y'all hear him okay? Make sure you pull your mic
I'm
up.
sorry.
There you go. Good. All right, this is from Wise Republican Women. What do you feel is the most important responsibility of a county commissioner, and what measures will you take to meet the requirements of this responsibility?
So the county commissioner is in charge of pretty much facilities maintenance and infrastructure for the county. I would focus in on actually being receptive to the people. You know, if somebody needs to call me, I'm there to answer a phone. I don't want to just do my job and shut myself into a closet where I'm not listening to what is needed and go about a daily routine where I'm like, yeah, just roads, that's it. You know, as we grow, we have to fund all these things. So, you know, I'm really not that great with elegant speech and put all this together, but that's what I got. Okay. Sorry, I don't got more for you.
This question is from the Patriot Society. Do you feel it is important to always agree with county judge or other county commissioners? Are you willing to debate an issue that you feel strongly is in the best interest of the people, even if it goes against the others?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
This question is from the Concerned Women for America. As a county commissioner, how would you manage your budget to ensure taxpayer funds are allocated to upgrade isolated infrastructure that is in disrepair and maintain countywide structures in good condition on a continuing basis?
Can you re-ask that question?
Yes.
Because I'm failing to see it.
Some of these questions are kind of long. As a county commissioner, how would you manage your budget to ensure taxpayer funds are allocated to upgrade isolated infrastructure that is in disrepair and maintain countywide structures in good condition on a continuing basis?
Don't act like Washington, D.C. and go to the negative. Always keep in the positive. Don't spend, I mean, I would treat it just the same way I treat my household. You can't spend more money than what you bring in, right? It's pretty simple.
Okay. All right. That is it for the questions that I have on my sheet. Since we've got a few minutes left, I think, are there any questions just from the audience that someone would like to ask? Is that all right? Can we do that?
I like a little bit more natural, yeah.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Given the amount of input given on the state and federal level, supposedly to the introduction and improvement of infrastructure, how about broadband internet infrastructure throughout the state? There are places in Wise County, especially my neighborhood, Holly Ridge, it's pitiful. The value of my home is nowhere near where it should be, secondary to the lack of internet access. I have 9 megabit download maximum. That's way below the 25 what's supposed to be standard. What can you do as commissioner, anything, to try to improve internet access of our neighborhood? There are live wires 500 yards to the north, 500 yards to the south. Can't get anybody to run through our neighborhood. That's like 40 homes.
That's something that I would just look into that, how do you put that? I sort of deal with you the same as you. I'm in Sunset, so I own a textile printing business. And I need internet to take images from my computer to my textile printer. It's lousy. I don't like it neither. I guess I would just sort of have to look into what options that we have to use taxpayer dollars to do that.
Most of the funding was there at the state and federal level. My wife is a professor of education at Texas University, online distance education. She has to go to the university to upload videos because it takes 10 times as long to do it at our home as it does at the university online there.
And you said that you said that there's supposedly money that's allocated to that already?
Well, it was on the last year's budget.
Well, I think the first thing I would do is look into why it wasn't spent on doing that then. I mean, if it was allocated for that, then why hasn't it got done?
Will the government run slow?
That's right. All right. Somebody else have a question? All right. I'm trying to think of a question for you really quick. Let's see. Oftentimes, when federal dollars come to counties, and we've been getting a whole lot of it with COVID money, right? There are strings attached. Would you be willing to say no to federal dollars if you feel like those strings are not beneficial to your constituents.
Yes. Yeah. So you've seen all this stuff, these bailouts that the federal government has gone out for all these businesses. I haven't taken any of it. I really don't want to be beholden, even specifically to like loans or anything, because when you take a loan in life, you're beholden to that person that's granted you that loan. I really don't trust the federal government, to be honest with you. And I served in the federal government, in the military. I've seen the waste with my own eyes. No, I mean, if we don't need to, why? Now I could understand if we are in a desperate bind, but I just really don't think COVID has really put us in a desperate bind. I think we're a stronger country than what they want us to think we are.
Are you familiar with Agenda 2030?
No.
Okay. I'm going to suggest you read it.
Sure.
It is a plan from the United Nations for really for our whole world, and it has to do with centralizing power. And so we know the federal government always likes to grab more power, right? So there's steps in Agenda 2030 that talk about moving people in from rural areas into urban and moving the powers that currently reside with counties and with cities to the federal government. We are seeing some real clear incursions into our state that match with that agenda. So I really want to encourage you to read it. How many of you here have read Agenda 2030 or know what I'm talking about? Okay. The left is absolutely following that game plan. And if you go and read it, it's chilling seeing what has been accomplished so far. And so for me, for county commissioners to have that information is really critical, because then you can be aware of what some of those strings may mean in the big picture.
Sure.
Does anybody else have a question? Yes, sir.
Zach, I'm going to put you on the hot seat. You live in precinct 2.
I'm already on the hot seat, brother.
So why should I vote for you over Kevin?
So not one man. So it's like a relay race. Not one man runs the whole race. That person runs their section of the race until they get to their other teammate and they pass the baton. And then that person has to run in a manner that's worthy of the previous opponent or of the previous teammate's race. And that person also has to run with endurance the race that is set before them. Kevin's a great guy, but he's been here a long time. I'm fresh. I'm ready. I've been there. I've done that. I've been all around the world. I'm a small business owner. Like I said, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a Christian. I'm ready for that baton.
Okay. All right. Any more audience questions? Yes, sir.
Zach, what have you done to prepare yourself for this office in knowledge base?
So I started out when I was very young with my family's company being a plumber. Served in the Marine Corps, came back home, went to college twice, became an HVACR technician, went back to school, also became an industrial welder. I've also worked in the oil field. I've had my hand in some form or fashion pretty much my entire adult life of some sort of infrastructure and maintenance, facilities maintenance, and I still do that to this day. Right now I take care of multi-million-dollar facilities in the Metroplex. Their heating, their ventilation, their air conditioning, and specifically some refrigeration too, like food refrigeration. So I understand what it takes mechanically to make things work. And I also bid jobs right now. So I also understand financially what is wise and what isn't wise. And I think that's what does prepare me to be a county commissioner, that being a mechanic and everything that I've done in my life, I know how to make things work. I know how to keep things up and running.
Okay. One last audience question. Anybody else have anything? Yes, ma'am.
Do you feel comfortable handling the budget of the county?
Yeah. I mean, we can try to make things super complicated, but math is math. So I have a small business and I have 2 apparel brands. I have a Christian apparel brand and I have a camouflage clothing brand. And it is a very seasonal business. I do great business in hunting season, then it comes back down. On top of that, I do work HVACR full time. You talk about balancing a budget. I balance a budget for a textile printing business, 2 apparel brands, and my family all at once. We're not in the negative. Like I said, some people can make it super complicated, but math doesn't lie. I mean, you can't spend more than what you take in. And we've talked about that this evening with the other, candidates. That's what I would say, is that you just put your mind to it and just be honest with yourself, of what you really have.
All right. Would you like to give us a closing statement? And you've got 2 minutes.
What I would say is that I want all of y'all, even if I'm not elected or anything like that, I want all of y'all to always remember, though, that there were patriots that went off and died for this country. And I'm sort of sick and tired of playing softball with these libs. I'm serious. I've picked up my dead buddies' bodies up off the road for this country. I'm sick and tired of it. I've seen here recently on the news that the Biden administration is letting these illegals go. Well, isn't that against the Supreme Court here recently upheld the remain in Mexico policy? So if they're not going to play by the rules, why are we? I mean, I'm sick and tired of bending over backwards while they get to break the rules and we don't. That's it. That's all I have. Good evening.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for running. We appreciate it.